Good afternoon everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we are going to mow some silage. All we had to do this morning was just hitch on the mower, and we let it sit for a number of hours. Lovely sunny day, and we are in good shape to get mowing. Grass has dried out nicely. If you remember back, we had a little shower of rain last night, the night before, but yeah, a bit of heat, a bit of sunshine with a lovely breeze, and it has just meant that everything is drying off nicely. So we're going to get mowing. Want to try and get all mowed out this evening so that we can start the lift tomorrow afternoon. So that is the plan. So let's get the mower going. Let's get some grass dropped.
Smile, now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 I'm safe and sound.
Okay, so we're more or less finished this field. I'm just doing the headlands now. One run right round the outside of the field just to do, and that'll be us finished, and we can move on to field number 2. There's just under 13 acres in this first field, so yeah, nice field of grass, and there's a great crop on it, which I am quite surprised at. I wasn't expecting the crop to be this good, especially considering all that dry weather we had over the last few months. Cold weather, the growth wasn't where it should have been, but since it started to do a little bit of rain over the past few weeks, it has just jumped out of the ground, and that growth has compensated heavily for the lack of growth earlier in the growing season. The grass is ideal for us for cutting. It's just starting to head out. There's certain bits of the field, depending on where you are, you can see a little bit of head on some of the grass, but a lot of it hasn't, so that's exactly where we want it. We like to just cut it at the point of heading out if we can. So yeah, perfect in that way. Lovely clean crop of grass, and yeah, happy with it. So yeah, if we get this field finished, I'll finish around the headland, and when we get going in field number 2, we'll come back for an update on how we're getting on there. Okay, so we are well on with field number 2. We're over halfway through, and it's very much different than field number 1. Field number 1, as I said, really good crop of grass. You can just start to see it heading out in places in the field. No heading out here in this at all. It's not as heavy a crop of grass, and it's slightly surprising because both fields were fertilised on the same day. Both fields got slurried on the same day, and they've had all the same treatment. So the only thing that I can think of that could be the difference is the grass seed. This field here is planted with a traditional mix of grass varieties, whereas the previous field is planted with New Zealand grass, or moor grass if you know the product. The moor grass or New Zealand grass does grow at a slightly lower temperature. I think it could be 2 degrees lower. I think it'll grow at. Traditional grass grows at 6 and it will grow at 4 or something like that. I can't just say it's 10 years since we planted the moor grass, so the actual figures has just kind of gone out of my head, but it's probably the reason why the previous field's crop is so good. Some people don't like the moor grass because if you have other grass planted on the farm, it does come in faster than traditional varieties. So yeah, look, it's just, I suppose, whatever you get used to, and if you're able to manage it. We've never had an issue with it. We've always had really good crops with it, and yeah, I've been quite happy with it. But it's down to whatever you're used to. Yeah, just coming into the short ground of this field now, but going well. Sun is still shining. Grass is lovely and dry now at this stage. When we started initially in the first field, was a little bit damp underneath, not too bad, but you could just, was a bit of a dampness in it when you squeeze it, but now it's lovely and dry. So yeah, hopefully the weather stays with us and we'll get it done. Some people messaging me, put a couple of pictures up on Instagram, and some people are messaging me saying that heavy rain in Kerry and Cork over the last number of hours. So yeah, hopefully it stays down there, not for too long, but just maybe till Saturday evening. So we'll see how we get on. I'm just going to set the camera up now, try and get a couple of shots, maybe set it up, mount it out on the moor somewhere, and yeah, we'll finish here. We'll go to field number 3. Field number 3, guess what it's doing? Take a guess. Raining. None forecast until Saturday evening at the earliest, and it starts to do a shower of rain. Now, in fairness, it hasn't done a whole lot, but it would have been nice if it had even stayed dry for another half an hour, just to be in this field completely mowed. But it hasn't. It's got a little on the damp side, and it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. It hasn't been torrential rain. It's just been enough to kind of, let's say, a heavy dew, we'll call it would be like if you were mowing down early in the morning. In any case, we are almost finished. We've only got there's less than an acre left, so we're well on with it. It's not going to make that massive of a difference. It's times like these I'm reminded of an elderly friend of ours who one time told us, he says, you have to remember one thing. He said, you can never rely on the weather in this country for anything, because no matter what you're doing, it'll let you down and it'll start to rain or do the opposite of what you want. He was right. Anyway, almost finished. We'll motor on, get this lad, this is all this left, just this strip and a run around the ditch. We'll get it all finished up, and we'll maybe go out and inspect the grass right at the very end. just finished mowing and everything went according to plan, except for the shower of rain that we got there about halfway through this field. Yeah, tractors went well, mowers went well, field looks well, lovely tight shave on the grass, looks super. That shower of rain, we didn't really need that, but it's not the end of the world. It started raining about halfway through this field, so basically I suppose the first 5 rows out on each side are dry, we're mowed down dry, so the top of those is kind of wet, kind of like this here. So you'll see droplets of rain all on the leaves of grass, but once you go down a little bit into it, bone dry, so not the end of the world. Now the middle rows, they will have a little bit more moisture in it because the actual grass all got wet and was then mowed and grouped over, so they're not going to dry out that much. But see, in the morning, if it's a decent morning, there's a bit of a breeze, we have a bit of sunshine, most of the rain that's fell on the tops of these rows will all be dried off, including the wet ones, and it'll just leave then the bit underneath that's wet. So not that worried about it. The rest of it was all mowed down dry, and they'll all dry off as well. So yeah, small bit of extra effluent that'll come out due to the bit of rain, but not the end of the world. We've often mowed it in a lot worse conditions. A couple of years ago, we didn't get our silage cut till about the 20th. It started raining at the end of May, didn't stop till the 21st or 2nd of June, and it was an absolute mess. So we're happy enough with this. This isn't too bad. Yeah, so far so good. I'm just looking here. That's not supposed to be there. Was that me or was that Dad? That was me. I come around here and I was dropping the row grass here in there, so that's me. Can't really say much about that. I'll have to sort that out now in a minute. That's really it for today's video. Tomorrow morning we will be we've a bit of getting ready to do still in the pit. We've put up the covers on the walls, so I'll take a bit of footage as we're doing that, and just I'll show you how we do it and what we do. So yeah, it's quite important. Like it eliminates waste on your silage. So yeah, I'll get a bit of footage of that. I'll also be hooking on the harvester on this tractor, so I have to do that as well. It is all greased up, it's all ready to go, but yeah, just has to be done. And we hope to get lifting tomorrow, maybe around 2 o'clock, 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, and we'll work on maybe till 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow evening and try and get, we might get we'll get 12 or 13 acres lifted, and it should leave a handy enough day then to finish off on Saturday. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. That's it for this part of the video. We'll see you in the morning when we're getting ready at the pit. Alright, so final preparations are just finished off. Tractor harvester is all hooked on and ready to go. I just have to go around greasing all the chains on the harvester. We had the rest of the greasing done from the other day, and washed the chute as well, which was just covered in a little bit of dust. Tractor, when I'm leaving the yard, I'll pop a little bit of diesel into the tractor. It's like nearly 70%, so it's not too bad diesel wise. We got the covers up, so the side is rather easy. There is just a matter of just draping the cover across the wall and cut it. Well, it should be cut. We used to try to cut a bit of foot from the end, but it's kind of veered off a little bit here, or maybe it may have, I think it has actually slid down on the wall a little bit, but that can be fixed beforehand. The wind is playing havoc with it. There's another cover there which goes right to the end, and it's actually been blown off, so over the wall, so that can be fixed just when the first load of grass comes in. That can be fixed easily enough. It's only a matter of just straighten the cover up and put a bit of grass again to stop it from blowing. Same on this side. We have some chains right the whole way across that are screwed into timber that allows you to hang the sheet on it. So we used to hang the sheet on the hangers of the spouting, but the sheet used to pull down. When this grass goes in tight against it and you start to tramp it, it puts a little bit of a pull down on it, and it'd bend the hangers. So we put these chains on and they're straight onto the timber, and it's a much better job. So yeah, that is done. Wasn't long enough to go the whole way to the end, so you can see there's a bit of an overlap here, but again, same thing. First load of grass comes in, there'll be a few bits, piles of grass just put right the whole way up along it to stop it blowing or moving in the wind, and same with that, that'll be held in place. Grass goes in tight against it, and that's good. Then it just steadies it all up. So yeah, everything ready. We have our effluent pipe in the track as well. It goes right down, connects into, there's a pipe already under the pit that's there, which goes into a 4-inch pipe in the ground, which then in feed turns itself into the slurry tank. So what happens is then any effluent runs into that tank, and what we usually do with it is we take it and we put it in along with maybe some thick slurry, and it's mixed up to weaken it down a little bit, or to leave it a bit easier to spread. But yeah, that's it. That is us more or less ready to go. The silage trailer is hooked on the 6.4 as well. Dad, as we speak, is just checking the tyre pressure on the jewels, so that goes in the teleporter, and yeah, that's it. We're ready to go. So that is it for today's video. Next video, it's going to be all lifting silage and doing all that end of it. So yeah, until then, if you haven't already, sub to the channel. Don't forget to hit the sub button, leave a like on the video, comment down below. All that kind of stuff all helps the channel, so please do that if you can, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.